When I open my eyes, intuition renews itself, unlike other regenerates. Accept it with all your heart. My last memory is of being hit by a truck. I thought Han Han was dead. I didn't expect it to be a chance to be reborn, because there is nothing to miss in the past life. Instead, rejoice looking at the gorgeous bedroom. My heart cheered, grateful for mystery. Guess that you have a noble desire in your 8 characters. Smell the fragrance in the bedroom. I guess this is a parenting text. Expansion, actively accept rebirth. Looking at the decorations in the bedroom. With 10 years of novel reading experience, judged this to be my mother's room. I feel I have earned it. You can be praised by others in the future. I heard someone say that the laurel tree has beautiful flowers. Another person responds, "This is a harbinger of a safe return from the battlefield. Wondering why you're holding a watering can at me." After a few seconds, cold sweat breaks out. Realize that something is wrong, exclaiming why I am not human, with the delicate petals falling hard, and he was reborn. I just found out that this is a 19-year novel. The fallen saintess and the raging beast. I was reborn as a tree, raised by a noble woman. Can't help but cry for help. I want to go back, but no one listens to my cries. A year later, I died from a neglected tree, reborn as a pickled cucumber pet, jellyfish, canaries in a glass greenhouse, all kinds of weird stuff. Every time you die, you're reborn, but you never become human. Didn't live long. I lament the unbiased, calm, and just rebirth at this time. In the 7th rebirth, through hardship and adversity, I finally became a living being. I happily wagged my furry tail. I feel like I have round ears and my soft butt. No matter how you look at it, it's a little white rabbit, and it's a baby rabbit. I thought I could be a good villain, or at least the protagonist. After all, I am a well-prepared newcomer to the workplace. The reborn turned out to be the onion cleaners. Of course. Now, it looks a little dirty because of the coal ash, but the way I look in the mirror is still pretty cute. After being reborn into the little white rabbit, I have no sense of existence. Rebirth will inherit the memory of the original owner. I'm looking forward to rummaging through my memories. I just had to laugh. I sighed at the empty ground. I've been hungry for 2 days. It's not good being trapped here among maids, because it's an albino rabbit. Some maids release stress by torturing me in captivity. I will be inexplicably sad after inheriting the memory of the original owner's smoke. Cleaning is a dirty and tiring job. Albino animals are considered alien. This job is a perfect fit for me. Worse yet, I'm a spy in the war between the Holy Empire and the Mordor. Empire sending children to gather information under the pretext of cleaning chimneys, and I was one of them. This is clearly not a long-lived job. Survived 2 sleepless nights. I thought about dying and starting over, but I still decided to stay in the little white rabbit's body, looking forward to a better chance of rebirth. The one where I am reborn again. And again, fallen saintess and raging beast. It's an incredibly hot and exciting novel. The heroine pulls new skills, a supporting star in a Korean web. Drama youth drama crossing dimensions due to god mistake after air crash. In agreement with the gods to fulfill 3 wishes. Her first wish is to become a saint of this world. With the experience of reading many Western fantasy novels, he knew it was the easiest job to survive after crossing over. Really smart after becoming a saint. He found that there were many men in the world who fit his preferences. Get used to it quickly, enjoy the super popular and greasy harem life, become the top star of the Holy Empire, but over time, I get bored. When meeting with the Mordor Empire, to the world's first dark wizard, Kirax Driblain. Love at first sight. The road to new love is not smooth. Kirax's sister, Riadan, is making things difficult. Even if bruised, Lashin is still meeting on the last night of confession, but Kirax told him to fetch the sacred relic of the order. The boss pulls a new one and embarks on a journey for positive love. But don't know. This is Kilax's plan to steal investment. After Kilax got the leader claiming to have made a vow of purity unable to accept new ideas. After that, Shengguan hunted down, Lashin is unable to do it because of love, threatening not to be loved, turn the world into eternal winter. Kilax says he has no intention of condoning his nonsense. The devastated. Larson makes a second wish, let the world be nothing but winter. Also, sealed years have passed, the world is devastated. The Holy Empire and the Mordor Empire. The war for resources continues. Ariadne died in battle. The 3 sons he left behind became the key heir to the house of Drabranya. Due to falling in love with La Xing, a power struggle broke out. Go negative, Kirax enters the magic tower. No more Larson and no more desired love. This is a novel full of tragedy, and I want to think how to be in a villain family as an onion cleaner. Survive, then the opposite bookshelf rotates. A suspicious secret passage appears as a spy. You shouldn't witness such a scene. After a while, one came out of the passage. A lazy and beautiful man with a strong aura, ebony black, dark bronze long, and narrow eye blade eyebrow bone. The first step exudes a sense of oppression, full of strong sex hormones. Messy but stylish suit, more dangerous and sexy, and you smile when you see me. I was shocked to death. Just as he was almost obsessed with him, he reached out his hand, and I snapped back, screaming that she is an innocent and beautiful girl. Beg him not to kill himself. Of course, because I was too scared. I can only shout in my heart. After all, I am a rabbit with my life hanging by a thread. He didn't know what to think. A short laugh. That smile was both reassuring and ridiculous. It's very subtle. I hesitated and took 2 steps back. Huge, but it's too small. I was in a panic, trying to figure out what to do. Are you going to turn it into rabbit pie here? I have already determined that he is the villain in the novel after all. If there were 2 such handsome villains, the protagonists in the novel estimate that I didn't even get a chance to stretch. If you yawn, you will be killed. When asked for a name, answer yourself without a name. I thought to myself, how could the evil Holy Empire, sent as a spy? The little girl's name is at most number 17 in a Tutanuk. 20. Or something like that. She whispered that since. She had no name. There are no Jianghu people, right? A hint of wildness flashed in the clear green pupils as he spoke. Surprise yourself. Sure enough, she said, filial piety again. Eyes are useless. It's too cheap to forgive like this. Have to add a condition. Then, he raised his eyebrows and suggested that he just needed a daughter-in-law. As her daughter-in-law, she might spare her life. Hearing my daughter-in-law's proposal, I was in a panic. I thought I would die, but to hear such an outrageous proposal. Then I remembered. The Drabrain family selecting a spouse in advance. Growing up with heirs, the special tradition of bonding with awakened alpha in adulthood, I also understand that this location is luxurious but fraught with danger. Most duchesses have been kidnapped, captivity, etc. Although I am excited in my heart, I am worried that it is a trap. I'm still thinking about not being too eager. So I pretended to be ignorant as a child. First ask if you will have a mother when you are a daughter-in-law. After getting the answer, that you can eat and wear warm clothes, thinking in my heart, I won't be as sad as the original character died tragically to take the opportunity to make money and gain power. Then ask yourself, why I heard him say he needs a simple child without a background, suspected that he was looking for. The person who is easy to control mentions the identity of the spy himself. When asked if he would sell information, decisively said, of course not. After all, the happy life of being a daughter-in-law is more attractive. Seeing. Kilix smiled again. I asked myself if it was an indentured daughter-in-law. I thought about saving more money during this time. I also realized that in the setting of the novel, a spy with no background like himself, perhaps the ideal candidate for a full-fledged family Kirax didn't respond to me. Inquiry about whether it is an extra seat. Instead, suddenly stop ready to hand me over to a maid. The maid asked what this round thing was. Kilax is a spy. The maid immediately drew double knives from behind when she heard it. Quirax laughed maliciously. When he saw this, seems to be very satisfied with this scene. Then he said that I am now his daughter-in-law. Asked the maid to be treated well, also said to formally introduce me at the family meeting tomorrow. The maid asked my name. Quirax, please call me. A pen first, and ordered me to wash and prepare food. I'm complaining in my heart that he should have said that earlier. Watch him disappear quickly after giving random orders. The maid left behind drags me in her hands. Seriously, introduce yourself, Iriko Nina the cheetah. Orc will serve me wholeheartedly in the future. I gasped when I heard he was a cheetah. In a panic, Nina asked me not to use Jingyu. He looks about 30 years old. Cute appearance, has brown-yellow hair parted on the sides, and small faces. The pheromones emitted by the body are not mild. I realized that even the maid have a higher order of pheromones than themselves. I am deeply interested in the villain family, because I know I can't outrun the cheetah. Helplessly give up the idea of running. Away instead, think how to live a happy life after becoming a daughter-in-law and wondering myself as an albinoid cannot be fully humanized. Believe. Why did the weak information suddenly become a daughter-in-law? I raised it to roll and laugh about in the tub. Nina complimented me on my cute smile, rubbed my belly with foam. I want to eat it in one bite, seeing that I was shocked. I quickly apologized. She was expressionless but gentle and steady, and not for being an albino, and it makes me grateful. After taking a shower, Nina reminded to dry carefully so as not to catch a cold. I looked at the bathtub and shivered slightly. I wonder if I've become cleaner, looking at the solemn interior of the room, glowing blue. I suspect this is Kirax's bedroom. Fortunately, he didn't show up lying on a pile of soft pillows. Feel the heat of the burning wood, drinking sweet honey milk, curled up in a wool blanket. Glad to have survived, determined to live well this time, but also confused about the future. But I know the secret of the Holy Empire in the original book thinking. Try to sell what you know about the Holy Empire in exchange for the protection of Kalakis. Although he never asked for information from himself, I have to find a way to find the value that I can use. Thinking about it, I felt sleepy, spent a long-lost warm night. The next day, I wanted to use the hot milk Nina brought me, goat cheese and bread. You get a sense of life in your mouth. Kilix stood beside him buttoning cufflinks. Seeing that I don't eat well, hand me a handkerchief. I still tremble subconsciously, but because he felt that if he wanted to kill, he would have already done it, didn't run away. I still feel in my heart that he is outstanding in appearance. Kilax in a neat suit fiddle with hair dazzling makes people almost doubt themselves. Can you get used to his appearance? I remind myself in my heart that I can't take it lightly because of Kirax in the original with the corpses of dead relatives. The madman who builds an army and hunted one by one without mercy. Deeply infatuated with La Xing's own relatives and nephews. I'm worried that he might drive me away soon, or at today's family meeting. Refuse to accept me. After all, in the original, the important affairs of the Drebran family, all decided by family council, admitting a person with albinism as a daughter-in-law, this kind of thing will naturally be discussed again. For me, the best situation is to do it. And Ji stays here, but if it cannot be accepted, I have to stay here as long as possible. Save independent funds and learn survival skills so that you can make a living if you leave later. Looking at the room without even ordinary gems. I can't help but complain. There is a gem in the decorative cabinet you can hide under your pillow. Just as he was thinking, Derek suddenly informed by the mirror. My name is fried on the file. I exclaimed softly in surprise. I turned around and saw him very natural. Lean over my head said he had found the one who put me in here, Holy Empire guy, and feed it to the dogs. Let me not worry about them coming again. I was shocked. His act of killing the Holy Empire overnight fear inside but pretend to be calm. When he made fun of the rabbits, wrinkled hair, I panicked and defended. Then the void makes a sound. A piece just out of the oven, a cookie with a slightly burnt edge, appeared in his palm, and put it in front of me. He also said that he can eat it directly after applying cooling magic. I took the cookie in disbelief. Tears welled up after taking a bite. The delicious food moves me. He promised to give it to me after eating, but he wants me to listen to him while I eat. I nodded blindly. The tail wagged involuntarily. Even briefly suspected that Kilix might be the good guy, but soon denied while carefully nibbling on a cookie. The corner of my eye is close to his eyes. It seemed to soften for a moment. Kilax reminded me to go to a family meeting, ignore the meeting. The clamor of the old guys with the bounty on them, and flaunts his highest bounty. It made me realize again the nature of his villain. At the same time, I am curious about becoming the daughter-in-law of this family. Does the amount of the bounty affect pocket money? I was a little down after I finished the cookies. He hands another piece. I happily accept out of the idea of not enjoying it alone, break the cookie into pieces and give Nina pieces first. You don't know what to call Kilax. Just silently passing out cookie pieces, he took the pieces and stuffed them into the void. This move puzzled me, but decided not to delve into it. On the way to the conference room, I crouched in his vest, curious if it would be warmer to bring yourself. I wonder why he looks so happy. After all, he is indifferent and alienated. The aide rarely laugh while thinking. A majestic door suddenly appeared. The scene changes instantly. Jerax asked the servant to get out of the way. The servant was shocked to see him. The stutterer's introduction stopped abruptly when he saw me. Syracuse introduced me to Miss Florin. After the meeting began, as expected, the class fell into chaos. The elders have accused the absurdity of taking care of patients with albinism. Ask hard-working candidates how to arrange it. Unexpectedly, Kilax always kept me in his arms. I thought to myself, if I were sitting at the conference table, I'm afraid I'll be forced to vomit by pheromones and shouting. The chaos in front of me is beyond imagination, clutching his chest tightly, and he looks down at me, and he taps me, like reassuring me that it's okay. Then Chingman's ridicule. The elders howled like dogs. This completely infuriated the elders, watching the elders get sick with anger. I'm silently worried about their skyrocketing blood pressure, and I notice that Kirax was in the upper seat. The left side, the upper seat, and the opposite side are empty. Realize that the seats of control belong to the head of the family, Ariadne, who was once the head of the division. Just then, I don't know when, the open conference room door slammed open. Great Drabragna. The 18th generation of patriarchs arrived. Shut up. The sound of cold to the bone marrow splits the hustle and bustle. Open man. The whole body smells like an assistant officer. Neat olive hair, silver ore glasses. Wearing the owl badge. That symbolizes the assistant officer on the chest. It's a viper. Don't give off bad breath where the master's sitting. It's too dirty. Don't splash the experience. See, no response. He went on to announce that he had invited the head of the house. The oppressive air becomes lighter. Kirax reached out and touched my head. The link short explains that it is pheromone-clearing perfume. It is a product developed by the auxiliary officer himself. At this moment, everyone stood up to greet the head of the family. Only Kilix sat still. Don't even turn your head in the direction of the master arrogance. This is very different from the image I knew. But here's what's even more shocking. With the sound of heavy leather shoes, white hair with hair oil chin line stamp, shoulder width north. The patriarch who can't see his age appears. A white suit with a bright pink shirt. I was stunned by the contrast. Can't help but complain in my heart it's more like a mob boss. Even doubt yourself, did you choose the wrong one this time? The head of the house asked the assistant, Lapirin. What is Kilix holding? Lapirin judged it to be a white rabbit. Kilix suddenly held my head down. I want to stuff it in my vest. I struggled to protest and it would only get more attention, and almost suffocated Lapirin, who made eye contact with me, laughed briefly, returned to his indifferent expression. During the meeting, someone silenced the head of the family questioning Kirax, taking the vernacular and giving it to others, when she mentioned Ariadne's death. Although Kylix has the right to decide, but people are skeptical. I just realized time point after the death of Ariadne. I can't help but regret no chance to see it with my own eyes. A genius, by all accounts. The head of the family has enough life. He means everyone. Ask Kylix. If the devil made him marry me, Kylix, feel free to respond that you want to think so. Let's just say so. This attitude angered the elders. They stood up and they shouted. In a stern tone, but out popped up something like that cute and poor little guy, beautiful and well-behaved bunny. I want to hold the strange words rubbed around in my arms. Kylix scolded them, talk about vulcanization in front of the kids. Then he took me out of my vest on the conference table. Frankly speaking, people don't like the background he brings. Simple child prefer candidates who collude with all walks of life. He also emphasized that as long as I am capable, squinting with his cheeks in his hands is faintly dangerous. Everyone felt threatened and retreated. Then I realized that he was borrowing and attacking, suppress the elders who want to seize power for a while, and with no background, I was exactly what he wanted. Jirax's sister was the next homeowner candidate, but disappeared on the same day as an adult. Life and death are still unknown. Family rumor his disappearance is linked to the curse of birch patience. Jirax unleashes like a waterfall. Terrible pheromone as a warning. Let everyone not make noise in front of the master threats. Don't be presumptuous without my sister's protection. Otherwise, it won't end well. The elders turned blue. Covering my throat, panting and rising, I peeked at the master grandfather I didn't expect. To meet his 4 eyes, he opened his mouth to express that Kylix spoiled me and asked me what I was going to do. I feel stressed. Cheer Up decided to implement as the Dairy Brain Your Seat, Delicious and Delicious, Stay Alive. Plan I cleared my throat and pointed to the map show that you are capable. Grandfather heard the word ability. Flick your tail to set the mood and also shout, lit up. Believe me to buy land in a silent conference room. These abrupt words echoed. The grandfather raised his eyebrows in confusion. I resisted the antics of his bright pink shirt. Keep negotiating. Tell me why you should buy an Audi. The head of the family can not only speak, you can also persuade people to invest in real estate. What a clever little guy, and ask where you want to buy the land. He just finished speaking. Lapirin takes down the map and flings it in front of him because a few moments later I was moving my paw across the map and pressed down on an area. I don't really expect the owner to buy it, just trying to attract more attention. I pointed to Lucoria territory. Wheat grows well here. It might not seem very useful now, because everything is frozen, but it will come in handy. Soon, early spring will come. The elders nearby immediately retorted when they heard it. They think I'm youngborn after the Virgin got out of control and only saw winter. It is impossible to know what spring looks like. I insist that flowers will bloom by there and make a lot of money, but I'm also worried. If pressed, how should I answer? The master asked me if I knew what spring was. The answer is yes. When spring comes, blood will melt. You can start farming again, and many animals will come. Buy it now while it's still cheap. When asked by the patriarch's grandfather why he was convinced, I was instantly in color. Hurriedly cast a look for help at Kirax Kylix. Has no choice but to be filial, stand up gracefully and say, I may have the ability to predict. Because she is a saint, sudden remarks. I was stunned, slumped over my grandfather's shoulder. Kira and Cox put me on his shoulder and announced to the crowd in detail, the Moto Empire finally has leftover women a week after the family meeting, when I was putting together the puzzle that Nina brought, thinking that there are cronies next to me. I am the elder of the leftover woman cookies from grandfather's gifts, such as candy, and I looked back. I just wanted to show that I knew where to invest, but I didn't expect. The atmosphere is towards itself. It is a leftover woman who can predict the development of spring. I suspect Kylix has other plans. Also worried how to deal with this outrageous, fake leftover female identity when I heard another leftover woman's story. The conference room became noisy. People are questioning, but I know that spring will indeed come. After the meeting ended, after it was a foregone conclusion. Kilax disappeared. Follow-up arrangements were informed. It upsets me. Even accidentally broke the puzzle, facing Nina's concern. I posed as an adult, declined his offer to play with him. Learned that Nina Skillix only made and was forced to sign 10 years of allegiance. Contract magic, my view of Kilax has changed. Even thinking about the future, let him teach himself this magic as you adjust to the life of the villain's family, and I realized what had happened. Can't stay out, so just go with the flow. I decided to sort out the goals. Draw the crown on the sketchbook, determined to play the role of the fake winner's girl pickup. Analyze novel settings, knowing that the future husband will be hooked on pulling new ones later, so they plan to build up their presence, their support, family development. Even imagine if something happened to your husband, take power yourself. I'm also thinking about changing the fate of the unfinished novel marked with pink crayons. 3. Traumatized male protagonists. Thinking that if I had redeemed them earlier, it may weaken the influence of Lazan, then write down the specific goal with a red crayon master of the Empire's greatest assassin guild, Joker, the eldest son, Andri Bragna. The whole body exudes a lazy beauty, second son, De Nedre. Braina Yuri Levan, Helico Friander, Briny. Haig is the only crown prince of the Mordo Empire. La Shin is still sealed, and I was the only one who could be in their childhood, people who meet them. This is my chance. First, become the second daughter-in-law of the Driveland family, not letting anyone find out. In the case of a fake leftover girl, they created a political faction. Third, befriend this family. Prepare for the arrival of the new fourth, save the suffering male protagonists before the new promotion. Tasting delicious brownies, enjoying the treatment of being a saint. I decided to continue this play at this time. The summons of the master grandfather arrived. I ran out excitedly holding a crayon, ready to sell intelligence on the Holy Empire. In a private conference room. The nobles were excited, showing the video clock to the owner. Emmanuel new shoots on Earl's Ridge, in Lucoria. The sight of buds appearing it is spring that has really arrived, the territory acquired by the family about a week ago. Now showing investment results, when the servant brought out the white rabbit with a basket, Emmanuel looked at the little guy on the table, raised the corners of his mouth to the people around him. Grandfather asked for my name. My answer is Florin. He remembered my name. A few moments later, I was sitting in front of my grandfather, the master of the house. Drinking milk with honey, because the cup is too big. It's not easy to bury your face in and lick it, but the aroma of honey is really tempting. Make me irresistible. Grandfather. Considered me as an albino chemistry may be more difficult. It means that someone will be ordered to make it. With handy cutlery and cups I expressed my gratitude to him. He smiled and said, "You're welcome," and praised me as a treasure, and I came up with the idea that cutlery should not only work. The dining table should also be made beautifully, best set with sparkling gems. I firmly believe that the master grandfather promised to make it. Exclusive items won't be cheap. Maybe there will be a museum, product-level artistic value, the family grandfather mentioned following my advice. Driblaine, the Lucoria region, has been fully acquired because it was snowing there a week ago, so it was started at a very low price. I was struck by the definition of low family prices. Wait until I finish drinking the milk. The grandfather of the head of the house opened his mouth to ask, "How about converting all that land into farmland?" He also pointed out that it was originally a wheat field. Guess I said, "Spring is coming. Does that mean you can cultivate the land?" I just realized it was a test. I wiped my chin wet with milk first, then stand up with a belly up and a wobble. People around me continue to talk about my cuteness, looking respectfully in these voices, take 3 deep breaths and give the answer. It is recommended to participate in the auction first. Sell it to the royal family at a higher price. I explained to the master grandfather, the news of the return of spring will make the Mordo Empire, and the Holy Empire were shaken by it. Lucoria, as the first place to welcome spring. The current value is immeasurable. Claims to live there will be the privilege of the few, but it can't be fed by converting it to farmland. The entire Mordo Empire, and make the land suitable for cultivation. It takes a lot of time and fertilizer. This land is of great significance, but lacks practical value. I suggest with the most believable expression, sold at the highest price in auction history. This way, I can also get more dividends. After all, Darabragn strictly follows performance and reward system. Then there is another valuable information. Grandfather was interested in this. Now it's pure pleasure. Go from skepticism. I tell you that soon the whole world will welcome spring. So before the whole country witnesses spring, hurry up and sell. Lucoria, grandfather laughed. Imagine the royal family feeling distressed after paying the money. The aristocratic uncles also revealed sinister smiles. I am full a well-behaved anti-Parsi smile, but the inner reason is to get along well with the villains, and surprised, but seeing the people around you laughing happily. Not in a bad mood, everyone is still discussing this idea. If the emperor, God knows the reaction. Recall that the royal family uses various names every year. Robbery, I think I got my money back this time. I gradually adjusted to the life of the villain family. Then he tugged at the family grandfather's sleeve. Ask Darabragn if he has seeds and fertilizer proposal to take advantage of spring across the country. The seeds that the family is developing, fertilizer and seedlings are sold to seize the market. The family grandfather immediately understood what I meant. Think of the original book in which Darabragn is a military enterprise focusing on weapons and golem research, but the current Duchess is signed with the Great Emperor Elf contract Elvist. He figured out how to use the least amount of nutrients methods for cultivating robust crops. Let the people of the Mordor Empire suffer less hunger. It also generates the seeds of the family stronger than other families can grow in a flat environment after sowing a symbol of hope. I'm worried that everyone will, because of me using the Duchess's research, be wary. After some hesitation, he decided to betray Kirax, who was not present. Family grandfather praised me for being smart. Stop asking about sources and ideas. I said half of it was what the base told itself in UMNP. Asked if the base refers to Kilitz, I admitted it, and they laughed. They made fun of me for separating the master. It's called a kitten. I sigh helplessly. Finally, the master grandfather asked me what I wanted in return, and explained to me the creed of Darabragn. You have to fight for whatever you want. Nothing comes easy, and I realized that. This may mean that you will be accepted, filled with the expectation of belonging. The grandfather of the family said, I put a price on my work. This experience will help to control the family's internal affairs in the future. Ask again for my pricing for this achievement. That's when I realized there's no point in pretending to be pitiful and cute, because what they want is to match two. Talent in the seat, as long as I can prove myself useful. They might choose me. I looked around at the crowd, waiting for an answer. The air is faintly filled with anticipation, and decided to embrace that expectation. Frankly speaking to Darabragn, the grandfather raised his eyebrows and asked. I did not hesitate to add that Aunstrablain, because it is the most cost-effective option. The clear pronunciation betrays my seriousness to ease the atmosphere. I hurriedly spoiled. Some people praise the child for his ingenuity, but when I said that, I panicked. Facing questions about the meaning of cost-effectiveness, I am the recipient, rabbit. Don't know how to explain. Even in my mind, the scene of people teasing puppies, the master grandfather suddenly burst into a hearty laugh. Admit that you have lost. Compliment me. The atmosphere of the conference room becomes relaxed. He complimented me on the wisdom of my answer. Rubbing my fluff scratch my stomach, I almost passed out. I'm torn between resistance and enjoyment. Shout out danger. Hold your breath and protect your belly. The master grandfather sensed my resistance with drawn hand. Then it was announced that I could, immediately, have your own bedroom room selection. There will also be maids and babysitters for the young me when asked about their age. I can't determine my real age before I'm interested. I can only shake my head to indicate that I don't know. My grandfather guesses that I am at most 10 years old.